right, welcome back, everybody, for another edition in the Social Token series. I am extremely excited for today's guest, Micah Johnson, who I've known for quite a bit of time at this point in this space. He's doing some really exciting things. Wanted to bring him on as a true kind of prominent creator within the world of the NFT space. And so, Micah, thanks so much for joining me today, man.
No, excited to be on here, man. Excited to get it rocking.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of things we're going to talk about, obviously, today. One area I wanted to kind of start off was you have a really, really inspiring and interesting background. So I'd love to just hear kind of your journey into crypto, and then we can get into some of the interesting things you're doing.
Yeah, so you know, I played Major League Baseball for 7 years, and growing up, that's the only thing I ever wanted to do. And so since I was three until I made it in 2015, I always was very unapologetic about I was going to play Major League Baseball. And contrary to every teacher who said I probably should have other plans or other options, I was very persistent on that was what I was going to do. And discovered painting in 2016. And I got traded over to the Los Angeles Dodgers. At that time in 2016, the Dodgers were loaded with superstars and icons that I grew up watching. And I was incredibly nervous. And the manager had brought me up into the front of the room to introduce myself, and he asked me what I'd like to do, and I got pretty nervous. I was and I played piano. I didn't want to say I played piano because I had a feeling that he would probably wheel a piano in and I have to play piano in front of the whole team. So I said painting. I was like, there's no way this guy's gonna make me do a painting. And he's like, okay, great, you're gonna have to do a painting of Maury Wills. And so created this painting of Maury Wills, Dodger icon, guy I would eat lunch with every day and bunt with every morning. Um, went to Walmart, got like the basic paints, basic canvas, and spent the rest of spring training, after these games and practices, making this painting. Bring it. I had to present it at the last, like one of the last days of spring training. Got in front of the team, presented it, and it was awful. And but all these guys came up to me that I like look up to and were like, hey man, this is really good. Like, you're incredibly talented. Wow, like I could never do this. And all I knew was like, okay, I'm a good painter. And so that rest of the year, I worked on my paintings. I was taking canvases on the road. Fell in love with painting. Fell in love with the process of watching myself get better. Fell in love with the process of watching a blank canvas turn to something at that time semi beautiful, right? And so had a couple couple exhibitions at Dodger Stadium, one in Atlanta, and I was like, okay, I retired from baseball in 2018 prematurely, and figured I'd just go straight into art. And which was funny was because I realized now that everybody was buying my art or supporting my art because I was the baseball player that was a painter. That was cool. When I was just a painter and no baseball was attached to it, nobody was knocking on my door to buy anything that I was doing. And so, fast forward to that into 2019, I was like, look, I just went a full year, no income, practicing my craft, no way to get my art out there. I don't know how to like reach out to a gallery or what that even looks like. Discovered crypto, discovered this thing called digital art, and super rare. And I was like, this is interesting. There was like 3 or 4 articles online, not many. And, led me to a Discord, led me to a Twitter, and started just reaching out to people and asking questions. And released my first NFT in early 2020. And what gravitated toward me towards crypto was the accessibility I had to some of the brightest people in the world. And they were, yeah, like, come in this Discord, come in here, go there, look at that, let's hop on a call. And I was like, this is incredible, because I just went a whole year of my life trying to figure out what I was going to do, reaching out to people in the traditional world that like didn't give me the time of day. And here we are, like, I'm getting all this information, all this guidance on blockchain and all this. And fast forward to the end of 2020, ended up winning the NFT of the year that year. And so I'm hooked. The fact that is my path to crypto.
That's incredible, man. And there's so much to dig into there. Where I want to start with, and this is kind of, let's say, your marquee character that really puts you on the map within the NFT world, right? Is this character called Aku, which is, again, him and of himself has an extremely inspiring story that I want you to get into. Maybe talk through, what the origin story was for Aku, why you decided to create him, and then we can get into actually some of the, success you've already had in terms of being the first NFT based character to be optioned for a Hollywood studio. Let's start at the beginning, though. What is the origin story around Aku, and who is Aku?
So Aku is a character that, if you look back on my paintings, is based around my paintings. So you talk about my paintings, and early 2020, my nephew asked if astronauts could be black, and so at that time, like I said, I had no representation, no nothing. So I was just making these paintings with my nephew in an astronaut helmet, and was sending him images, and I was able to see, like, in real time, like, his whole, like, confidence, like, shoot. And he was, like, watching these NASA programs on TV, building rocket ships out of cardboard boxes. And I was like, this is so fulfilling. Like, seeing that was more gratifying than stepping on the foul line on opening day in Kansas City. And I guess this is bigger than me. Reached out to a gallery in LA, Art Angels. They hosted me a solo exhibition for me, sold out immediately. And the response was incredible from the collectors. But what I realized was those paintings and my message, which is hanging on, individuals' walls. And so that is how I came up with, I wanted to do a digital character, get it out into the world so more people can see this message. I'm not a very outspoken human. I'm not going to go talk about what I've ever done. So I saw Aku as like a way to inspire, another generation, or the next generation of dreamers. And created Aku, released it as an NFT in February of this year, with no expectation other than just, like, I wanted to get Aku out into the world. I felt like this was something that was meaningful to me, and I just wanted to see how it responded. And first 60 seconds of that day, we released it as an NFT, sold over $1 million. And the most powerful thing about all that, this was like in the middle, you remember, like, when there was NFTs were booming, was the fact
Mm-hmm.
that all the headlines at that time were like, this sold for this much and this much and this much. But the headlines at that time were about Aku, like, literally, like, people were responding, like, I see myself in Aku, or this is what Aku means to me. And that's when I knew that this was actually even bigger than anything I could ever imagine. And, like, just went straight to work on how can I get this, like, how can I not only, like, reward those people that made this happen after chapter one, but, like, how can I build this out really big and reach a broader audience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you mentioned there NFT based character, right? And to make this a bit more tangible for people, chapter one being that first drop that you just referenced. What has been, I guess, the inspiration for getting Aku out into the world? How have you done that, right? Maybe talk a little bit about these chapters, where you are with those, and we can even get into the future plans for,
Yep.
the rest of these chapters and how you're thinking about that.
So, like I said, I was in NFTs for a year, and I understood what it meant to build a community, and I understood what that community could do for, obviously my artwork. They spread the word about my artwork, and so I understood what orchestrating a community around a token could do for a creator. And so releasing Aku as an NFT is very similar to, like, you think about old comics, right? Releasing, here's, the Hulk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I was like, okay, this is my first, these chapters, there's 10 of them, are the origin story of Aku as, like, the first iteration and versions of Aku. But by doing so as an NFT, what happens is you're able to have an audience that isn't just liking or sharing this character that I post maybe on social media. They're actually, spending dollars and telling their friends to go spend dollars because this is a character they believe in, or a creator they believe in, or a message they believe in. And what that does is it creates this alignment with me and, the collectors. And what that does is create really, like, a core group of evangelists to go spread that message even further, right? Because now they're incentivized to do it, because obviously with NFTs being liquid, there's a secondary market, or, and so it creates this, like, wildfire that, really there's nothing else out there that can really replicate that.
Hey, if you like this clip, be sure to like and subscribe for more crypto related content. Also, be sure to check out the full interview and more only on realvision.com/ crypto.